Hello, this is Cynthia Douthit with the Jewish Christian Studies Center, and today our teaching is going to take us to Caesarea. Now, Caesarea is an ancient city. It was built about 10 BC, and we see it spans the Old Testament to the New Testament. So this is a great place for us to start our tour. When we're in Israel taking people on tours, this is normally one of the first stops, or is the first stop that we make the morning after our breakfast on that first day. It is often referred to as Caesarea by the sea. It's between Tel Aviv and Haifa, and the population was half Jewish and half Gentile. So we see that there was often clashes between the Jews and the non-Jews. One of the places we're going to look at today is the Hippodrome. And the Hippodrome, as you can see behind me, this is a picture of what Caesarea would have looked like in its heyday. The Hippodrome, which is right here behind me, is where the chariot races would have taken place. And this is the idea of the scene of Ben-Hur. You know, I like going to Caesarea. I like looking at the Hippodrome. I have this IMAX theater that I'm always talking about, where I can kind of read the history and have it played in full living color in my mind. And as I'm looking at the Hippodrome, as it's right there on the Mediterranean Sea, I can just imagine what it was like with the chariot races and the horses' hooves pounding. And, you know, I have a Ben-Hur movie going in my mind when I'm there looking at the Hippodrome, where these chariot races would have taken place. It was also used as a sporting arena. And so it was quite a large place. It was 54.68 yards wide, and it was 328 yards long. And a football field is 120 yards. So I want to give you a little bit of real focus of what it would look like. This is what it looks like today when we were there. It has been excavated, and you can see how it has the turn there. It would hold up to 20,000 people. There were seats there for 20,000 people to watch these chariot races or these sporting events. This is another let me kind of move out of the way, that you can see the length. And again, it was 328 yards long. A football field is 120 yards. So you can just see the magnitude of what this sporting arena for these chariot races, but also used for other sporting events as a sporting arena during that time. Now, Herod was half Jewish, and he was a Roman, and he was appointed king. And we know that he was quite the builder. He had a building project like no other. And when you go to Israel, we'll see that at many of the stops, like Masada. You would not believe what he built there on the edge of Masada. But he built the impossible, so to speak, at Masada. And also when we go to Jerusalem and the Temple Mount, he enlarged the Temple Mount. It is a trapezoid, and I think it's, I don't know, about 38 acres or so. But he enlarged the Temple Mount so he could enlarge the temple. And so we see that he was a builder. He even had the stones. You could identify what stones were used in his building project. But he was made the emperor. And so when he wanted to do his tribute to the Roman culture, he really went all out in such a big way. Caesarea, this is one of his babies, so to speak, his great building. As we can see again, there was the Hippodrome. Move a little further, the Temple of Augustus, and we see the remains of that. Kind of move a little further this way, but you can see that the remains of the Temple of Augustus, and we know that it was dedicated to Caesar Augustus. So he had a great plan in mind for building this temple. And again, I'm sorry, I keep moving back, but that's just the way it is. We can see how it was right there, and he had a pool to swim in and everything. He had a built harbor here to just really make this quite a masterpiece, so to speak. We see that he had aqueducts, and this again is a picture of one of the aqueducts. Again, you can see the Mediterranean Sea and how this aqueduct would carry water into Israel all the way up to as far as Mount Carmel. So he really was a great builder. He was greatly into projects of bringing Roman culture to Israel. He wanted to influence the Jewish people in Israel and really wanted to look good in the eyes of the Roman people. So this was Caesarea. It was an ultra-modern port. It had everything there from the amphitheater, which, let's see, this way, the amphitheater, the Roman theater, we will go there. It had the forum, it had the aqueduct, it had the hippodrome, it had a palace, it had this beautiful harbor. It was the place to be. It was a commercial capital of Judea. And the Roman theater that we will go to is still in use today. The Hippodrome Stadium was the epicenter of Rome away from Rome. It was a place of paganism. And in 10 BC, Herod dedicated his new city with this competitive sports festival that was intended to rival the Olympics. So you can see what he had in his mind. He was wanting a place of this hippodrome that would rival what they had in Rome. He had a sports festival that was top notch. And so as we look at this, we see it does scan from the Old Testament to the New Testament. Again, it was a Jewish city. It had a Jewish community. It had synagogues. There were people there who were worshiping the one true God. Then there was the pagan people who were worshiping all the different pagan gods and Caesar. And so Herod really wanted to promote this lifestyle. In 26 AD, we know that Pontius Pilate was sent to Caesarea to be the prefect over Judea, and he had ordered statues of the emperor to be brought to Jerusalem. And in protest, a large delegation of Jews gathered in the Hippodrome of Caesarea to demand that they remove these statues from Jerusalem. And this is how Josephus Flavius describes this event. Pilate took his seat on his tribunal in the great stadium and summoned the multitude with the apparent intent of answering them. He gave the arranged signal to his armed soldiers to surround the Jews. Finding themselves in a ring of Jews, finding themselves in a ring of troops, 3 deep, the Jews were struck dumb at this unexpected sight. Pilate, after threatening to cut them down, after threatening to kill them, if they refused to admit Caesar's images, signaled to the soldiers to draw their swords. So if these Jews would not allow for the images, these statues, to be admitted to Jerusalem, he was going to have the Jews killed. Thereupon the Jews, as by concerted action, flung themselves in a body on the ground, extended their necks, and exclaimed that they were ready rather to die than to transgress the law. Overcome with astonishment at such intense religious zeal, Pilate gave orders for the immediate removal of the statues from Jerusalem. So we see here that the Jews in Caesarea were still very much Torah observant. They were following the 10 Commandments, and that second one is you are not to have any of the graven images, no statues, to which people would bow down to and worship. And again, this is one of the things that we were having the mix of the Jewish biblical Torah practice in 1st century AD with this Roman Greek Hellenistic mindset. And this is what even Yeshua Jesus was teaching and preaching about not bending the knee to Rome. And we know the Bible warns us, if you allow these things to be brought in, people are going to be pulled away. And so these Jewish men were really making a statement that they did not want their beloved Jerusalem, the place where God had the temple built, the place where God has set his name. They did not want these pagan statues and a statue to Caesar there that would draw people away. You know, Caesarea, this is the place where Simon Peter gave witness of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Messiah, to Cornelius, a Roman soldier. And this is the place where this Roman soldier, a pagan, accepted Yeshua Jesus as his Lord and Savior. This is also the place where Paul was imprisoned. And again, he would have been imprisoned in this area behind me. I can't tell you exactly where. Nobody knows for sure, but we know it was in this area when we read the scriptures and we see the descriptions that are given. So I hope you have enjoyed looking at a little bit of the Hippodrome, a little bit of Caesarea, and really seeing what a modern city it was, with theaters, hippodromes, sports stadiums, forums, aqueducts, palaces, and any and everything that you would find in a big city. And when I say any and everything, that's what I mean. The Jewish people really were struggling with the way that the life was there, and they were trying to hold on to their lifestyle and go to synagogue and live a life that was biblical, the way that Adonai, God, had set forth for them. Hope you've enjoyed this picture of the Hippodrome of Caesarea and learning a little bit about it, and I hope you'll consider going with us on one of the tours that we're taking, and you can see these places in person. I've enjoyed having you here today with us and hope you'll join us again. Shalom, shalom.